My name is Laura. I was just 22 years old, and desperate to find a job. A real job. Something steady. Something that would help me survive. One morning, while flipping through the newspaper, my eyes caught a small advertisement. It said a man was looking for a maid for his 2 young children. The family was wealthy, very wealthy. And so, I decided to go. When I arrived, I froze for a moment. The house wasn't just big. It was enormous. Like something out of a dream, or maybe a storybook. I rang the doorbell. Pause, music. A tall man opened the door. His hair was dark, but his eyes were what struck me most. They looked heavy. Tired. Sad. He studied me for a moment and asked quietly, "You're here for the maid position?" "Yes, sir," I answered. "My name is Laura." "I'm Jackson," he said. But he didn't smile. Not even a little. Jackson gave me a tour of the house. Everything inside was beautiful, filled with expensive furniture and fine decorations. Yet, it all felt empty. Like a museum where no one left, no one lived. On the walls were many framed photographs of a woman. She was stunning, almost regal in appearance. But her face was never smiling. She looked like a sad queen. Then, I met the children. Twins. A boy and a girl, about 7 years old. Their names were Shane and Zara. They didn't say a word. Just stared at me with big, quiet eyes. "This is Laura," Jackson told them. "She will be your new maid." But they still stayed silent. The entire house was heavy with silence. Later, Jackson explained softly that the children's mother had passed away 1 year ago. And in that moment, I understood. This job wasn't only about dusting furniture and washing dishes. It was about something far deeper. Bringing light back into a house drowning in shadows. I needed the money. Yes. But I also felt something tugging at my heart. So I told Jackson, "I'll take the job." And that's how my new life began. I moved into a small room inside the mansion. Every day, I cleaned, cooked meals, washed dishes, and most importantly, I looked after Shane and Zara. But the children, they were so quiet. Too quiet. I rarely heard them speak. And laughter? It was like a sound that no longer existed in that house. They missed their mother more than words could ever say. Jackson rarely spoke about her. He told me she had died in a car accident, but beyond that, he kept his heart locked away. He spent most of his time shut in his office. Working. Alone. Always alone. But slowly, little by little, something began to change. One evening, I heard a sound that startled me. Laughter. Shane and Zara were sitting together, drawing pictures and giggling like normal children. I smiled, but when I turned, I noticed Jackson. He was standing silently in the doorway. Watching. His face looked different. Softer. "They haven't laughed like that in a very long time," he whispered. My heart skipped a beat. For the first time, Jackson wasn't speaking as a boss to a maid. He was speaking as a father, and a man who was beginning to feel again. But then, things changed. One Tuesday afternoon, a woman arrived. She was elegant. Her clothes were expensive. Her voice was sharp. "My name is Caitlin," she announced. "I'm Amelia's sister." Amelia. The name of Jackson's late wife. Caitlin was older than her sister. And from the very first moment, I knew she didn't like me. She watched every little thing I did. Criticized me. Judged me. The children don't need games, she said coldly. They need rules. Discipline. Strong limits. I tried to stay quiet. Tried to be respectful. But Caitlin's presence made me uneasy. Later that day, she cornered me in the kitchen. I was washing dishes when she stepped closer. You think you can just walk in here, she hissed, and take my sister's place? I shook my head quickly. No. Of course not. I'm just the maid. She laughed, but it wasn't kind. Let me tell you a secret, little maid, she whispered. This family you think is so perfect? It was never real. My sister was miserable here. Jackson never loved her. He's a cold man. A selfish man. He doesn't care for love. He only cares for his work. Remember that. And don't think you can change him. Her words pierced me like knives. Suddenly, the man I worked for, the man who carried sadness in his eyes, was a mystery. Was he grieving? Or was he truly incapable of love, just as Caitlin said? I didn't know. But doubt began to grow inside me. Caitlin visited often. Each time, she made me feel smaller and smaller. One afternoon, as the children and I sat together in the living room, Caitlin looked at Jackson and said, "The children need a real mother, Jackson. Not just a girl who plays games." I lowered my head, ashamed. But then, Jackson's voice filled the room. "Laura is good to my children," he said firmly. "She makes them happy. And that is enough." I froze. His words, they weren't just about work. They meant something more. My heart began to race. And when Caitlin finally left, Jackson turned to me. "You are a miracle, Laura," he whispered. And then, he kissed me. The next morning, Caitlin returned unannounced. She saw the look in Jackson's eyes. She saw the way he smiled at me. Her face turned pale with rage. "What is going on here?" she demanded. "What have you done to him?" She stormed up to me, pointing her finger. "I warned you, little maid. You think you can steal my sister's husband in her own house? You're nothing but a gold digger." Her words broke me. Because she was right about one thing. This had been Amelia's house. Amelia's family. And me? I was just the maid. With tears in my eyes, I whispered, "I'm sorry, Jackson. I'll pack my things." And I ran upstairs. But soon after, Jackson followed. He found me in my room, crying. "Don't listen to her," he said, his voice full of urgency. "She's right," I cried. "This is wrong. I don't belong here." "No, Laura," he said firmly. "The only thing wrong was my life before you came. Please, sit down." I sat on the edge of the bed, trembling. He looked deep into my eyes. "Caitlin was right about one thing," he said slowly. "My marriage wasn't happy. Amelia and we were lonely. When she died, I didn't just lose her. I lost the family I had hoped for. My world stopped moving. But then you came. You brought color back into this house. You made me feel alive again. The kiss wasn't a mistake, Laura. My only mistake was not telling you sooner. I'm falling in love with you. Please, don't leave. Let's build a real family together." 6 months passed. And the house? It was no longer silent. No longer cold. It was filled with laughter and warmth. Caitlin stopped visiting. Perhaps because she knew she had lost. My old maid's room was turned into a guest room. I now shared the master bedroom with Jackson. He was no longer the sad man I had first met. His eyes shone with life. With love. One evening, as we sat together, Jackson took my hand. "Are you happy, Laura?" he asked. I looked around. At the home that was no longer empty. At the man who loved me. At the children I now loved like my own. "Yes," I whispered. "More than I ever dreamed. More than I ever hoped for. I had come here as a maid, just looking for a job. But now, I was Jackson's soon-to-be wife. It wasn't easy. There were tears, doubts, fears. But in the end, love found its way into the darkest of places. Because kindness and patience can heal even the saddest hearts. If you liked this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.